Yo, what is up? Look, does one slip up always seem to lead to going off the rails altogether, which can last for days or even just giving up altogether, which can be really frustrating, right? Today, I want to tell you why it happens and how you can actually stop it. Now, if you're like any of my members or any of my girls, the countless girls that I've helped, that kind of giving in usually leads to a lot of feelings of guilt, shame, judginess, things like this. And whether it's a bit of pizza or even a slice of cake, we end up saying, what the hell, I've already blown my diet, so I might as well just keep going. And psychologists call this the what the hell effect. But why does it happen? See, surprisingly, it's not actually that first giving in that is the big problem. And that isn't the thing that leads to the going off the rails or that follows. It is actually the feelings of guilt, of shame, of loss of control, the judginess, and the loss of hope that are the real problem because they make us feel bad and we feel like we've blown it, so we might as well keep going, which leads to more guilt, more self criticism, and more feeling bad, which leads to more giving in and to try and feel better with food. And it becomes like this vicious circle. So, the worst thing that we can do after a slip up is actually be self critical and feel guilty about it, which is the opposite of what we're programmed to think, especially for girls. We're programmed to feel that we need to be harder on ourselves for being so weak in the first place, which then actually makes us feel worse, which leads to even more giving in. And look, this is serious because study after study has linked self criticism and guilt to less motivation and worse control. So, what can we do instead? We can try self forgiveness and self compassion. And I'm not talking about this in a soppy sense here. There is actually research behind this. It does not mean making up excuses and it does not mean trying to justify poor decisions. It means accepting that it happened, accepting that you're only human, you're not a bad person for having a slip up, and taking responsibility for it and just moving on. Surprisingly, this is the really cool part. It's actually forgiveness, not guilt, that increases accountability. And researchers have shown time and time again that self forgiveness and self compassion actually increase personal responsibility. Now, if I was to pick two things as two of the most important things to have when we're trying to slim down and tone up, it would be accountability and personal responsibility. And self forgiveness increases both of these. So look, there's another way of looking at this as well. What would you say to a friend? We're often really, really good at giving really comforting and really good advice to a friend after a bad day, but absolutely brutal at it to ourselves. So try that perspective of what would I say to a friend in this situation. You can also get rid of the all or nothing approach. This approach causes nothing but trouble, and like girls are really, really, really bad at this. It's kind of looking at food as good food or bad food. Am I allowed it or am I not allowed it? And quite often, the things that we kind of are drawn to instinctively, we see them as bad. And then we feel guilty for even thinking about them, and then really guilty for having them. So, getting rid of the all or nothing approach and finding out ways to include things we really like into our plan is absolutely key. And then this other one, plan and prepare. We always kind of know where we're most likely to slip up or face setbacks. So it's really important. Just put plans in place to be able to deal with it so we're not caught out by them as if it's by surprise. But the most important thing of all, guys, seriously, we're not bad people for wanting certain foods. We're not bad people for thinking about certain foods. And we are certainly not bad people for actually having these foods. Seriously, try a little bit of self compassion the next time you have a slip up. That's it. I'm out of here. Goodbye.